Exercise technique, easily the most important factor when it comes to lifting weights in the gym. But you may be performing exercises in the gym with technique that you didn't even realize was wrong, or could be easily improved with a few simple changes. So let's get straight into 10 popular exercises in the gym that are often performed incorrectly, and let's talk about how to improve them. So firstly, the lat pull down. Two of the most common mistakes I see here are with the stretching of the arms and the bar positioning when the bar is being brought downwards. So a really popular mistake is to bring the bar down in front of your body like this, using a lot of the forearm muscles, the biceps, and kind of pushing the bar down with the wrists as well. And the second mistake is actually not extending the arms fully during the eccentric portion of the movement. So when lifting the bar up, you'll come to around here and then pull back down again. Basically just half repping, right? Make sure, one, when you're lifting the bar up, you fully extend your arms all the way to the top. This is making sure the back musculature is being fully stretched, so you're getting a perfect range of motion before bringing the bar back down. And two, making sure when you are bringing the bar back down that it's coming to around upper to mid chest height, and try and almost touch the bar with your chest. The second exercise is a bicep incline curl. Now personally, I like to do this on quite a severe incline just so I can get a really good bicep stretch, but I'm not too bothered about where you put that incline of the bench as long as your arms stay behind your torso. The biggest mistake here is that people will swing their arms so that actually they finish the curl with their arms in front of their torso. This is basically just doing a standard bicep curl at this point. The key here is to keep your elbow behind your torso throughout the entire movement. Even at the top, the contraction, your elbow should be behind your torso. This is training the bicep in the lengthened position and means that you're keeping all the tension on the bicep and not swinging forwards using your shoulders. The third one is a leg press, trying to bias the quads. People think that they can put their legs wherever they want on the leg press and it's going to work just their quads. Well, actually, if you have a higher foot placement, this is going to work a lot of your glutes as well. But if you want to bias your quads, then make sure your foot position is lower down on the pad and also fairly close together. This is going to mean when you bring the pad back, you get the most amount of knee flexion possible, basically bending at the knee. And the more you can bend the knee, the more this is going to bias the quads. Number 4 is the lateral raise, specifically the dumbbell lateral raise. One of the worst mistakes being made here is when the arms are being thrown behind the body and the palms are being lifted and shown to the ceiling. Now, if your arms are being swung behind your body like this, like you're almost trying to take off and fly, then this really is going to involve a lot of the traps. And to mitigate this, make sure you're leaning forward slightly, and also when you're raising the dumbbells, the cue I like to use is keeping your knuckles facing the ceiling. So if your knuckles start to flare out like this, then you know that you're taking it too far and your wrists are rotating too much. Keep your pinkies high and your knuckles facing the ceiling. This is keeping all the tension on those lateral delts. Number 5 is the pull-up. Two main ways to perform this exercise people get wrong are, one, to use way too much momentum and kind of swinging themselves up towards the bar by moving their body away from the bar and then upwards. All this is going to do is just use more energy to pull away from the bar and then pull back, and also then take away tension from the back muscles you're trying to train. And the second wrong technique is to kind of shrug into it, so sticking the head forward instead of keeping the head up and back. Try and stay pretty much under the bar the whole time, so you're just lifting in a very vertical straight line motion, keeping all the tension on the lats. Stay close to the bar, make sure your chin rises above the bar to get a full repetition. Number 6 is a machine chest fly. Now, the most common mistake here is that people complain about feeling their arms too much. Oh, I can feel my biceps, triceps, and shoulders, but not really my chest. A really easy fix for this is seat positioning. If the seat is very low down and you're coming across your body where your arms are higher than your chest, then all of the tension is going to be in your arms and not on your chest. Bring the seat up a little bit higher so your arms fall down and are in line with your lower or mid chest. Now when you come across your body, your arms are actually in front of your chest is being squeezed, and all the tension is going to be there. 7th exercise is the Romanian deadlift. This applies to barbell or dumbbell, but the most common thing here is not using a hip hinge movement. When you're lowering yourself down, you're bending and rounding your upper back because you're using your upper back to drop the weight down. Fix here is instead of dropping the weight and bending over, you want to use a hip hinge. And a hip hinge is basically pushing your hips backwards and allowing the hip movement to lower your body. So the cue I like to use is pretend that you're trying to touch a button on the other side of the room with your bum. So you're sticking your bum back as far as it will go, and by sticking your bum back, your upper body will actually come down as well. And what you'll notice here is that all of that tension will now go into your hamstrings instead of your upper and lower back. Number 8, an ab exercise, hanging leg raises. I'll preempt this by saying this is quite a difficult exercise, so to perform this properly will require a few months of training anyways. But if you are performing a hanging leg raise where your knees are coming up to around hip height, then this is a hip flexor exercise and not an abdominal exercise. To make this an abdominal exercise, those knees need to come all the way up to try and touch your chest or your head. As I said, this is quite difficult to perform, so don't be afraid to use the elbow pads on the assisted machine if you can't do it with just body weight. Number 9, skull crushers. A really common mistake, because they are literally called skull crushers, is to bring the bar down to around forehead height and then back up again. And people complain that they can't feel their triceps. Well, it's because you're not giving yourself much of a range of motion. If your arms are in a straight position, you bring them down to your triceps, there's really not that much movement being had. Whereas if you bring your upper arms up and increase the angle, bring the bar behind your head, then you get a massive stretch on the triceps when you bring it all the way back up. And finally, number 10, bench press. Here's a really simple one, but specifically guys, a lot of you need to hear this. If your reps look like this and you really struggle to bring that weight down and touch your chest each repetition, then I'm sorry to tell you, you are lifting far too heavy. Take some weight off the bar and make sure that each repetition is touching your chest and with good form and technique. If you can only half rep it, then you're lifting too heavy. So there's your easiest tip of the video. If you're half repping on bench press, take some weight off. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, well there you go. There's 10 exercises that a lot of gym goers get wrong and how to fix them. I hope you can incorporate some of those tips within your next workout. Let me know how you get on. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.